the new updated request view. So as you can see on my screen, it looks different to how it usually looks. So from next week, you'll be seeing the updated view. So you can see as I hover over them, they highlight so you can see which one you're selecting. Any unread requests are highlighted in this light blue colour. So when I then click into that request and then go back to my request, you can see it then unhighlights that because I've read that request. It tells you what the request was for. So this one was a medical request for a cough. It tells you the patient's name and age, who they selected from on the available staff list, and what group they're currently sitting in. It also tells you the time and the date they sent that request, and it shows you if they were shown any alerts as they were sending that request through. You can also see the last line of text added to this request, so whether that's a note or a message from the patient, you'll see that last text line as well. And you can also see if you've selected waiting for patient, that it will show this symbol here to tell you waiting for the patient to respond. So as you hover over these particular symbols, it will tell you what they mean. Other symbols you may see is a locked button for a locked request. So if another colleague was in this request, it would show a lock symbol here. And you can also see if I go into my completed requests at the top here, you can see which ones have been added to the clinical record. So it will show you again by the symbol, so it's nice and easy to locate which ones have been added and which ones have not. You'll also notice we've still got those priority tags, so whether that's same day, urgent or routine, it will still show on that request if you've added those priority tags, and you've still got your groups down the side. You can also go so you can see if any are opened, you can go and see your completed requests, or you can see all requests. It will add all the opened and complete requests into one list for you. You can still go in and filter on order by as you can before. So you can go and order by priority, for example. So it'll bring those urgent requests up first. If I go through and select one of my requests, if that patient has not already been matched in the clinical system, it will go to match that patient. So I can say that looks like the right patient and carry on through. I can then see the request that patient has submitted. So I can see it's a medical request for the patient's information, who the request was sent by and who they'd like help from. So when viewing the request, I can click to open that patient record if I want to check any details. I can see that patient's information, but also it's now split down so I can see the full request and see anything that has happened on that request so far. I can go into request details, see the information they inputted, the patient's information and the inquirer's information. I can see if any notes have been added to this particular request. Go in to see the messages separately. We have a readings page. So if a patient has uploaded health data or answered a particular questionnaire or scored scales, you'll see the previous readings they submitted as well. So you can see I've received this health data request on the 16th of March, but I can also see previous readings sent through as well by the patient. And you see the audit log as well. So anything that's happened on this request is added to the audit log. So the full request allows you to see any notes, messages, anything that's happened with that request in one spot, but you can go in and look at particular sections you want to see. You'll also notice here we have the buttons across the top. So the first one is your identity verified. So if I clicked into that request, this patient's already linked, but I can remove the link and match that patient in the clinical system, but then also confirm how I verified their identity. You can set those priority tags, so whether it's urgent, same day, routine or unprioritized. So let's say I change this one to same day. I can write a reason for changing my priority and click save, and that will update the priority flag for that particular request. I can go into contact the patient, so I can message the patient or start a video consultation. So if I go into message the patient, I can use one of my message templates and type my message in. add any attachments and send that message to the patient. So you can see it keeps a record, so the patient's message, our response, and then once the patient responds again, or I can send another message onto that. So if I wanted to follow up, I can type my message, click send, and my message has been sent. So when I now go back to full request, I'll see that message has been added to the full request. I can also go into contact that patient and start a video consultation. It auto-populates the patient's mobile number for me, and I can click to add more participants or send myself a link by SMS. Once I click to join the call, the patient then can join because they'll be sent a link to their phone by SMS, or if you send it via email, so they can click on the link and join the call. I can go to action and assign to, so I can assign this request to another group or colleague. So let's say I typed in a colleague and clicked save. That request has now been assigned to Emma, and that has taken me back to my request. So you can see that's now been marked as unread, and it's now in Emma White for her to deal with. You can take the request for yourself. You can add a note to the request. You can complete the request if you no longer want the patient to communicate back with you. I can click to send it to clinical, or I can download a PDF of this request. So if I go through to send this to the clinical system, I can still edit the text on the heading, title and detail. I can still select and deselect what I want to show into the clinical system, and I still get the same options to complete, send to clinical, or send to clinical and complete. You'll also see here I have the toggle, so I can tick if I'm waiting for the patient to respond or not. So let's say when I tick that particular box, when I go back to my request, you can see it's added the waiting for patient symbol, so I know I'm waiting for that patient to respond.